Scholars. Today our book is all about creativity and imagination. So that is super important when we're thinking about our creativity and imagination, because we might be able to just look at something and say, oh, that's just something normal. But if we're using our imagination, we can create a really cool story. So we're going to watch about this little boy and how he makes a small thing into this really big and exciting thing with his imagination. The other fun thing about this is the author is Dr. Seuss. So remember, author means it's the person who wrote this book. Dr. Seuss does a lot of rhyming. And so when you were with me, we worked on some rhyming words. And so now you're going to hear a lot of rhymes. That means that the end of words sound the same. So if I have a word like dog, log, the ending sounds the same in both words. The beginning of it doesn't sound the same, but the end sounds the same. So you're going to see a lot of rhyming words in this book. The title is "And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street." So that is our book for today, and we're going to read and see what this little boy's imagination can do. Here you go. When I leave home to walk to school, Dad always says to me, "Marco, keep your eyelids up and see what you can see." But when I tell him where I've been and what I think I've seen, he looks at me and sternly says, "Your eyesight's much too keen. Stop telling such outlandish tales, stop turning minnows into whales." Now what can I say when I get home today? All the long way to school and all the way back, I've looked and I've kept careful track. But all that I've noticed, except my own feet, was a horse and a wagon on Mulberry Street. That's nothing to tell of, that won't do, of course. Just a broken down wagon that's drawn by a horse. That can't be my story, that's only a start. I'll say that a zebra was pulling that cart. And that is a story that no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street. So you see, he's already starting to use his imagination and saying instead of just a horse drawing a wagon, he said a zebra was drawing the wagon. See what else he does. Yes, the zebra is fine, but I think it's a shame. Such a marvelous beast with a cart that's so tame. The story would really be better to hear if the driver I saw were a charioteer. A golden blue chariot's something to meet, rumbling like thunder down Mulberry Street. So we can hear a lot of those rhyming words like meet, street. No, it won't do at all. A zebra's too small. A reindeer is better. That's fast and he's fleet. And he'd look mighty smart on old Mulberry Street. Hold on a minute, there's something wrong. A reindeer takes the way it feels to pull a thing that runs on wheels. He'd be much happier instead if he'd pull a fancy sled. So he keeps changing parts of the story. A reindeer and sleigh. Say, anyone could think of that. Jack or Fred or Joe or Nat. Say, even Jane could think of that. But it isn't too late to make one little change. A sleigh and an elephant. There's something strange. I'll pick one with plenty of power and size. A blue one with plenty of fun in its eyes. And then just give him a little more tone. Have a Raja with rubies perched high on a throne. Say, that makes a story that no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street. But now, I don't know, it still doesn't seem right. An elephant pulling a thing that's so light would whip it around in the air like a kite. But he'd look simply grand with a great big brass band. A band that's so good should have someone to hear it, but it's going so fast that it's hard to keep near it. I'll put on a trailer. I know they won't mind if a man sits and listens while hitched on behind. But now, is it fair? Is it fair what I've done? I bet those wagons weigh more than a ton. That's really too heavy a load for one beast. I'll give him some helpers. He needs 2 at least. So if we hear some more of those rhyming words, so we have mind, behind. Those 2 are rhyming at the end. Beast, least. So we hear the end parts of those words are rhyming. But now what worries me is this. Mulberry Street runs into bliss. Unless there's something I can fix up, there'll be an awful traffic mix-up. It takes police to do the trick, to guide them through where traffic's thick. It takes police to do the trick. They'll never crash now, they'll race at top speed, with Sergeant Mulvaney himself in the lead. Look at how many people he's added to his story. The mayor is there and he thinks it is grand. He raises his hat as they dash by the stand. The mayor is there and the aldermen too, all waving big banners of red, white, and blue. And that is a story that no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street. With a roar of its motors, an airplane appears and dumps out confetti while everyone cheers. And that makes a story that's really not bad. But it still could be better. Suppose that I add. Ooh, let's see what else you could do. A boy who eats with sticks, a big magician doing tricks, a 10-foot beard that needs a comb. No time for more, I'm almost home. I swung around the corner and dashed through the gate. I ran up the steps and I felt simply great. For I had a story that no one could beat, and to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. But Dad said quite calmly, just draw up your stool and tell me the sights on the way home from school. There was so much to tell, I just couldn't begin. Dad looked at me sharply and pulled at his chin. He frowned at me sternly from there in his seat. Was there nothing to look at, no people to greet? Did nothing excite you or make your heart beat? Nothing, I said, growing red as a beet, but a plain horse and wagon on Mulberry Street. The end. So that was our book all about this boy's imagination. And so you see how all he saw on Mulberry Street was a horse and a wagon. But by the end of his story, when he was thinking of it, he had all of these people, all of these animals, a band, so many things were happening. And so he just used his imagination and made up a story that he thought was exciting, that made him feel happy. So if you're using your imagination, there's so many things that you can do. All right, guys, I'll see you later.